My name is Robert Wood. I am a professor of kinesiology at New Mexico State University. I received my PhD in kinesiology from Louisiana State University in 1996. And for the last 15 years, I've devoted my work to exploring functional lifespan, longevity, preventing functional decline in late life, maintaining independence, and falls prevention. The earlier studies about 40, 50 years ago demonstrated the effects of age on our ability to do physical work and remain independent. And what we have learned over the last 30, 40 years is that about half of what we attributed to age is believed now to be due to inactivity. In other words, if you're not active, you're going to decline at twice the rate as someone who is.
Anybody heard of Marjorie Newland? Anyone want to guess how old this woman is in this picture? This woman is 85 years old in this picture. 85. She did not start being regularly physically active until she was 72 years old. So at 85, she was winning bodybuilding competitions. But so many people, even at the ripe old age of 45 and 50, will say it's too late to start. But the truth is, the person that has not been active has the most to gain by becoming active. The thing is, if you're over 65, look to your left, look to your right. One of the three of you will fall this year. If you're over 80 years old, then just look to your right and look at each other. Because one of you's gonna fall. That's the odds. This is what happens. You fall, so you become anxious about being physically active. And because you're anxious about being physically active, you're not as active. And if you're not as active, then you get weaker. And you get weaker, you're more likely to fall. And you fall. And you become more anxious. And you get weaker, so you become less active, so you fall. And there's this downward spiral.
And what we're hoping to provide for older adults is to provide them with opportunities to be active in settings where they can understand what their limitations are, what they can do safely, and what they should not attempt to do, thereby increasing their confidence in their ability to be as active as possible and therefore stay as independent as possible.
Something that's emerging from the screenings that we do, some of the information that we're gathering, that the more medications you're on, the more important it is to be physically active.
We are really excited about the work that we're doing in the Reduced Gravity and Biomechanics Lab with the Engineering Department at New Mexico State University. Because of this collaboration, we're able to do some very sensitive analyses of gait patterns of older adults and explore some new territory to try and identify particular patterns of gait that put older adults at risk for falls.
I want you to watch this woman walking, okay? And this woman has had some problem with falls. And I want you to look at her feet. And I want you to notice that her toe hardly comes up off the ground, and her toe rarely ever gets higher than her heel. But this is our lovely student, Samantha. And you'll notice when she walks that her toe gets above her heel, as opposed to our participant over there who kind of throws the foot forward.
What we like to do is we like to go out in the community, into community centers, continuing care retirement communities, and offer fall screenings. And in that setting, what we do is we ask the older adults about their medical history, their history of falls. We also have a couple simple physical function tests that we have them do that are very predictive of falls. In doing these things, then, we're able to provide the older adult with feedback about their risk for falling and offer them suggestions as to things that they can do to hopefully reduce their risk of falls. In our view, it's not a question of how long does one live, but how long does one live well? How long is one able to maintain their independence? And this is where really there's a convergence between our message and the message of Life Support Medical. We both come at it from different perspectives in terms of us wanting people to behave in ways that are going to keep them functional and keep them active and keep them doing the things that will enhance their quality of life. And in the case of the products of Life Support Medical, the point is to provide them with the other types of supports in their built environment that will allow them to remain independent and to get help if they need it. One thing that's very interesting about human nature is we oftentimes wait until there's a problem before we address it. Oftentimes people won't go get grab bars for their bathroom until they've fallen in the bathroom. By getting the word out, by going out into these communities, by doing these talks, and by just public education, public awareness, hopefully we'll be able to prevent medical emergencies, including falls.